YouTube? It's your brother YT. Wake 'em up. Back at it again with another video. So there's this popular saying going around that everybody has herpes. I don't got it. It can't be everybody. But anyway, listen, we're going to get into this video, man. Apparently everybody is catching it and they want to normalize it. That's what they're saying. They want to normalize it. Make it normal. Having an STD. Family, you already know what to do. And if you're brand new too, thumbs up this video so YouTube can push this content out. Smash subscribe to join the tribe. And ring the post notification bell as well.
I had never got tested for any STDs other than what I naturally had in 2017, which was a case of HVS1 herpes or whatever, which I'm aware that all of us have that to some degree in our blood or whatever like that. It's just that whatever lifestyle that person is living, that antibody gets exposed in a certain type of way and it is non-reversible. And so in 2017, I was diagnosed with that. But all of my partners have known that prior to sleeping with me, and I would tell people that, and I actually tell people that so I can get them the fuck away from me. And so these people decided to still sleep with me, but these people have never gotten tested and told me like, hey, I caught it from you. Me personally, I've never had an outbreak to, to say like what that experience is like. So I don't know, but after me leaving that last time, I got my system clean. I did what I needed to do. And I'm back to my original layout, and I kept it like that. And last time I got tested was 3 months ago. And my status is still the same to this day. Now, if somebody decides to be with me, knowing that I have the health history that I have, that's on them, but people know my situation because I'm like, I tell people this is what it is.
What's up, y'all? So it's Alyssa the Alchemist. If you don't know who I am, I'm Alyssa. I have HSV too, to answer your questions there.
I got herpes at 16 years old. Not only did I have to deal with the scrutiny of my parents bullying me in my own household because I had this disease, but I had to deal with the scrutiny of kids at school. Do you know how mean kids are? Because I tried to warn a young lady who was dealing with the same person that gave me this and let her know, hey, you might want to go get tested. And what does she do? She spreads it all around the school. And now I'm being bullied in high school for 3 years because I'm 16. And I overcame that. And then society is bullying me. And then my parents are asking me why I'm telling everybody. Well, I'm telling everybody because no one told me. So for everyone who thinks I'm wrong for telling people it's okay to have herpes, it is okay. I overcame all of that and I'm okay. And you will be too.
Herpes at 16 is something, ain't it? At least she's trying to be motivational and positive and think positive. Her parents said, why would you tell everybody? I get why she told to try to save somebody else from going through what she's going through. I get that. Or at least make that other girl aware that you might have to go get checked too. But at 16, that's young. Kids doing grown things at early ages. And it's been going like that. It always been the ones that started early. It always been a few in the school. She just so happened to catch a STD she can't get rid of, and she got to live with that for the rest of her life. From a teen to the rest of her life. But like I said, I get why she told, so that she could try to help somebody else out. But kids gonna be kids. They gonna tell the whole school. Word gonna get out.
I didn't tell my husband that I have herpes. This is Herpes Anonymous. I too have been scarred. I do not show any symptoms and I do not have outbreaks, but I have a really hard time disclosing that I have herpes. When I found out I had to put in a suppository and it broke me out, I went to the doctor and that's when I was hit with shame. I do not know how I contracted herpes, and when my past partner at the time went to go get tested for herpes, their results came back negative, which made me feel extra disgusting. I have had partners in the past I did open up to and it wasn't a problem, but I've also had ones that I did confide in and they look at me differently, making the decision that they did not want to date me anymore. I felt so ashamed that I just hid my pain from the world. I'm now married and I'm ashamed to say that my husband does not know. I just deal with it by myself because I do not have symptoms or outbreaks. It is just easier for me to keep it a secret. I really want to tell my husband because it weighs on me, but I'm also so very scared. Coach Shayna, thank you for being the voice for us who are too afraid to speak up.
Now, what type of stuff is that? She didn't tell her husband she got herpes, but she told the internet. I'm telling you, these people out here foul. She talking about it's better that I don't tell him. I keep it to myself and go through it on my own, in so many words. Man, what? If you don't let that man know what's going on with you. All right, now this next clip is the symptoms. If you don't know the symptoms, you're about to learn about them.
5 things that I learned while having herpes. 1, it is not your fault. I know that sometimes we tend to blame ourselves or just overthink ourselves into thinking that it's our fault for being put in a situation that we're in. It's not your fault. It's a lot of people who have it. It's very common. So don't beat yourself up. 2, what you eat has a huge impact on your outbreaks. So pay attention to your bodily sensations, certain things that you're eating, because your body will let you know when you're about to have an outbreak. 3, rejection is God's redirection. It don't always feel good to be rejected. I can speak on my part that rejection was the hardest part for me. Being rejected because of the stigma of it. But I promise that God has a way for you and that everything's happening for a reason. You just have to let things be. 4, you will find your people, whether that be relationship-wise, friendship-wise. The right people will come around and you won't have to question their intentions or how they feel about you, because they'll just prioritize you and your well-being. So the things that you're going through now, just take it on the chin, because it's better people to come. And 5, prioritize your health over sexual desires. The person that you're dealing with should be getting checkups, should be going to the doctor. They should be managing certain things that they're eating, certain products that they're using, because evidently their health affects your health, if you didn't know, down to the type of body wash they use. That needs to be a priority for anybody that you're dealing with, because it affects your outbreaks as well. And it's just important overall.
What's up, y'all? Herpes positive, Batty here. Y'all have been asking me questions about being herpes positive, so I went ahead and put them in a note, and I'm going to answer the first question. It's a little personal, but let's go ahead and get into it. So the first question is, how did you find out you had herpes, and what was your first reaction? So I contracted herpes from a guy I was dating. I did not know he was herpes positive. He did not disclose to me. And about 2 to 3 days after engaging in activity, I started having symptoms which felt like a UTI. So, of course, the first thing I do is take a UTI test. I went to my local drugstore, got the UTI test, took the UTI test, and the UTI test was negative. Y'all, my bathroom trips were so uncomfortable. I wanted to cry every time I had to use the bathroom. I wanted to avoid using the bathroom, but the more I went, the more uncomfortable it got. I'm the type of person who likes to do self-examinations in my mirror. So once I realized that UTI test came up negative and none of the over-the-counter UTI medications were working, I started doing some self-examinations at home, and that's when I noticed some bumps down there. Very scary, very frightening. By that point, I was pretty much able to go ahead and diagnose myself. But I guess for peace of mind, I went ahead and went to the doctor, and the doctor was able to confirm right then and there that I was herpes positive before even getting the swab that she took sent to the labs for testing. Y'all, I was so hurt. I was sad. I immediately called my mom and I cried to her on the phone. The doctor that I went to was so nice and so helpful, because while I was on my phone crying with my mom, the doctor was in the room still too. And she was really just talking to me, talking to my mother, kind of educating us in that split second about my options, about medication. After getting off the phone with my mom, I then called the guy to let him know that I was herpes positive. And that was a humiliation ritual. He, first of all, had another girl in the background on the phone. I'm talking to him while he's talking to her. So I don't even know why he answered the phone if he wasn't able to have a conversation at the time. But he's talking to her, talking to me, not taking anything that I'm saying seriously. I'm literally telling him that I'm at the clinic and they're telling me I'm herpes positive. And he's laughing. He's not taking it serious. And after that, I really didn't talk to him ever again. But yeah, that's how I found out. It was very hurtful. It was very isolating. It was very scary. It was very sad.
Caught herpes from the man. Didn't talk to him ever again. He wasn't taking it serious. He didn't care. He don't care to entertain it. And when they break that news to him, he do the same thing. Cut him off. But the fact she calling herself herpes baddie? Wow. I guess you got to embrace it, huh?
Okay, so I have herpes. And I'm actually currently having an outbreak right now. You can't see shit. You can't see anything on my lip. You can't. Every now and then, I feel it on my chin. I feel it, here. I kind of go like this. But so I have HSV1. 80% of the population has it. I have it orally, anally, and vaginally. However, I don't get cold sores. Like, I never really get cold sores. But I did want to mention it only because me having herpes is like a big deal to my bullies. And like, when I say bullies, I mean even like my family members. Like, somehow everybody just knows that I have herpes. It's like this hidden, oh, everybody knows I have herpes. Like, oh, it's so gross because the sex worker has herpes. Like, guys, actually, I got herpes when I was a kid. I'm pretty sure I never actually had a cold sore. The ironic thing is that the only reason I know I have herpes is because I am really paranoid, or actually not paranoid. I care a lot about my sexual health. So I get tested very, very, very often. Like, I get tested if I know I want to sleep with somebody and get into a sexual relationship with somebody. I get tested before that. After I begin having sex with somebody, I get tested during it. Even if we're using condoms and all that. Mind you, the whole like, okay, you can just use protection thing doesn't really work. Like, not with HSV1. Like, you know, like, honestly, I probably got this shit as karma because, you know, I used to always be like, and I still do actually, like, where I'm like, oh, like, I get the bread, I get the head, and then I leave. Like, I used to always be like, oh no, like, you can come and eat my ass, but like, you're not getting shit out of me. You know, like, you can come and eat my ass, but you're not getting shit out of me. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how I got it. I'm willing to bet. So it's kind of karma. But anyways, so I was gonna say, the only reason I know I have it is because every time I go and get tested, and after I end a sexual relationship with somebody, I get tested for a third time. And if I go, like, if I have a period of a few months, like, if I go a long time without having any sex, I will also get tested, like, just in between, just in case. But so the only reason I know if I have herpes is because I actually specifically asked them to do the blood work to test for herpes, for the antibodies. They usually don't include that because, like, in all of my testing, it only showed up one time. Once. So, like, in order for it to show up on a test, you actually have to have the antibodies present at the specific time of that test. So I guess I might have had it my whole entire life. I'm assuming I've had it my whole life, only because if I'm at the point where I don't get cold sores, I'm willing to bet that I've had it my whole life, and maybe I did have cold sores when I was little and I just, like, grew up and never knew that I had it. But the funny thing is like, especially like even a lot of the people I know that feel some type of way about me having herpes have herpes. They're just in denial about it. You know, like, I'm like, no, girl, like, you're always tickling your chin, or like your lip is itchy all the time. You have a reoccurring issue on your, like, you have this reoccurring, like, acne. You're going like this, like, oh yeah, my chin is itchy. Like, bitch, you have herpes. Like, you know, like, the same people that I know, and like the same people that I know that are doing all the herpes stuff are the same people that feel like I'm gross because I actually officially have herpes, and like, I know that I have herpes on a test, which is ironic because the only reason I know I have herpes on the test is because I'm extremely on top of my sexual health. Because I'm on top of my sexual health, because I'm medically literate, because I'm safe, because I am healthy. Because I am healthy, I know that I have HSV1. 80% of y'all have it. 80% of y'all have it. This is what an active herpes outbreak looks like. Active. It's active right now. Active.
And this one different than HIV. I feel like, and this is just me speaking, I feel like herpes should be on the STD test as well. You shouldn't have to get an additional test. Some people don't even know. They thinking they don't got it. They got checked, not even realizing that it just wasn't on the results. It's not on your My Chart. You got to ask for that individually. So if you're not on your health, you might be walking around with it and might not know that you have it. And then some people don't even get it from sexual intercourse. You could get it from sharing utensils with somebody. You could get it from childhood, from being a baby and somebody kissed you. That's why you got to be careful who kisses on your kids, man. You can't be letting everybody babysit your kids. They be liking to kiss the kids on the lips, you know? They can get it that way.
I'm going to tell you guys the downside of dealing with herpes. Those of you guys that don't know me, I've been dealing with herpes for almost 10 years, and there is a downside of dealing with herpes. There's a good side, and there's also a bad side. The bad side of dealing with herpes is whenever you get a common cold, flu, COVID, or whatever the case may be, you get sick faster because you have herpes. You have an underlying disease and it will attack. The second most thing about dealing with herpes is that you get these really, really painful outbreaks that can last up to a week, a couple days, or sometimes almost a month. It's very annoying. Number 3, you got to make sure that you eat more healthier than you have before, which is okay even if you didn't have herpes or even if you do have herpes. 4, condoms do not protect you from herpes. That's one thing I will say to you guys. Condoms will not protect you because it didn't protect me. So at this point, herpes is just going to keep on spreading because a lot of people didn't know this and I didn't know this, and this is why it's happening to me. Another thing about having herpes, another downside, is that when you're pregnant, you can have a normal birth, but you just got to make sure that you're not on an outbreak when you have your baby. And that is the main thing that you have to focus on, because this is another person that we're bringing into the world. Another thing about having herpes is that I do catch myself having fevers and chills out of nowhere, even when I'm not sick. Like as right now, like I feel like I'm getting sick, but I'm not sick. It's just the herpes that's messing with me right now. So there's a possibility that I can start getting sick any day, anytime, right now. And you know, it's not easy dealing with herpes. The worst part is about the situation is when you start trying to explain yourself to people, they don't look at it how you look at it. They look at you as a criminal, as a dirtbag, as a person that doesn't need to see life, when all I was just trying to do was live my life. Like everybody else, some people are fortunate, some people are not fortunate, and it makes us stronger. I love you guys. Make sure you guys go get tested. These diseases have no face and no name. So just make sure that you go to the clinic, get tested, and do what you have to do for the sake of you and the others around you. I love you guys, and make sure you guys stay tuned to my next lit video.
So what do you tell them I need help? So when I disclose that I have herpes, HSV, I'm going to give you one specific story about me disclosing, and then I'll talk about another story. Just to give you like real life scenarios and not what I would do if I were you. So one specific story, I was in the West, is it West Loop or South Loop? Girl, one of the loops of Chicago. And I was going to Flaco Tacos. Going to Flaco Tacos, get some tacos and a margarita. And I was finding parking, and I bumped into this man, very handsome as hell. He was like older, he was very handsome. He was like, hey, like you look beautiful. Trying to talk to me and get my number. So I did end up exchanging numbers with the person. And immediately, right then and there, I told him that I have herpes. And his response was so beautiful. He was so sweet. He was so amazing. And not to get all holy or whatever, but I really truly think that God will literally send you the right people when you're trying to disclose and you set the tone with yourself. Like, you know what? I just want to be able to express having herpes with people, and I just want to be comfortable doing it. God will literally send beautiful people to your life to make that process easier. Also, with another guy, his response I just disclosed through text message. I actually ended up sending him my YouTube video because I have a YouTube video about having herpes. And he was like, I don't think any different from you. I don't think anything different about you. I still think that you're just amazing and you're a beautiful person. So if you were worried about disclosing, my best opinion is to just tell them, hello, I know that you're interested, but I have herpes, and either you want to continue this or you don't. Really just laying it out, just laying it out flat. Honestly, there really is no, I don't go out my way anymore to make it sound a certain way, to make it sound good. I don't go out my way to even make it sound bad, because we could really make it sound worse than it really is. So just be mindful of that. Be mindful of your tone. Be mindful of how you're viewing your own situation too. Because if you're in this sad mode, people are going to get that energy from it when you tell them oh my God, I have herpes. Help me. They're going to get that when you tell them. So you have to just tell them flat out, bold, confidently, hey, I like you too, and I have herpes. So if you want to continue that, we can. And if you don't, hey, you don't. So, but it's a work in progress. So don't pressure yourself.
Yes, that's right. It's best to be transparent, be all the way real, be upfront with the people that you are interested in dating or having sexual intercourse with. especially. I don't like nobody not telling these people and leaving them in the unknown, and that is a crime too. But I heard that a lot of people won't care. You know, they might still want to date the person. You know, they can still have an active dating life. You know, if you have herpes, you can still have an active dating life, active love life. You know, I'm not gonna just say it's over for you. You just got to be transparent with the people and allow the person that's willing to be with you, be with you. That's all I could say. You know, if you are a person that's dealing with this. And I watch a lot of these videos online, and this is what I hear, so I'm just sharing what I hear. I'm not here to judge nobody. I'm not making this a video of what you should and shouldn't do, because there are people that have it already. And all they can do is keep living their life and be transparent.
So on December 20th of 2023, I went into the gynecologist for a routine appointment. She did a pap smear, and I was like, well, since I'm here, can you also do blood work and run a full STD panel, including HIV, because some places, I don't know, when you ask for STD testing, they don't test for HIV. And I also said including HSV1. HSV1 is herpes simplex virus 1. It is the oral herpes. And some places won't test for it because a lot of the population actually has oral herpes, a cold sore. So a lot of people test positive for it, but then they don't want people to freak out because a lot of people may not ever have a breakout. I don't know. That's what one physician told me. And I was like, I don't know what everybody else do. I would like to know all of it. Anyway, so I asked her for those labs, and she asked me, am I asking because I have any concerns, or am I asking because, I want to do preventative testing? And I let her know preventative testing. If I am playing adult twister, then I get tested every 6 months. If I'm not playing adult twister, then I get tested once a year. The last time I had been tested was March of 2023. It was now December 2023, so I was like, just include it in there. When I left the OBGYN office, I normally go to Quest Diagnostic, which is to the right. I went there, and it was probably like 5:30, and they didn't have any more appointments left because I think they closed at 6 or something like that. So I was like, damn, but there's another urgent care right on the left, and they have a lab in there. So I went to that urgent care to get my blood drawn. This is very important. That was on the 20th. On the 23rd, I got a notification that said my results were ready in the portal. I logged onto the portal. I didn't even go to the STD testing because I look at my blood work first. A doctor once told me that I am mildly anemic. So they asked me to take iron. Anyway, so I checked my blood work first, and then I was checking the STDs one by one. Not detected, not detected, negative, not detected. And then I get to, it said like HSV 1 and 2 antibodies or something like that, or antigens. And then it said like a high level of it. I immediately got on the phone with that doctor's office. She looked it up and she was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to see if the physician can call you back. Yeah. You see what I see. She called me back and she was like, oh, I'm looking at your lab results. She's trying to go over everything else. I'm like, girl, I don't care about none of that. And she was like, oh, I'm looking on here and it says, HSV 1 and 2 positive. She was like, I remember you asked for the test specifically. Like, is there something that you're worried about? There was nothing I was worried about. Actually, I was completely fine until I just logged on here and saw that it was positive. So now I'm freaking out. I am really freaking out. Like, I can feel myself, like, I can feel the anxiety just building. This is the first time I've tested positive for anything, mind you. And she was like, yeah, you've never tested positive for anything. Like, I'm going to just have them run it one more time because we don't know if it's HSV1 or HSV2. HSV1 is oral herpes. HSV2 is genital herpes. She was like, so we're going to have them rerun the test. This was on the 23rd of December. This was right before Christmas. The whole time during Christmas, I'm like stressed the fuck out. And thank the Lord I was on Christmas break from school because that would have been too much for me to handle. I done cried. I'm like, oh my God, like what? Thankfully that I was in school at the time. So like I had learned about this. So I'm like, okay, you know exactly what herpes is, how it works, like what you have to do, like just calm down, you'll be okay. So then I'm like, wait a minute, I got it from somewhere. So I didn't say nothing because I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna wait until she run the second test. I finally got the results back on December 28th. I got the portal notification first. So I logged online. I seen that it said HSV1 not detected, HSV2 not detected. As soon as I was getting off of the portal, my phone was ringing and it was the physician telling me like, hey, good news, you actually don't have herpes. And I'm like, okay, well, why did I test positive? She's like, I don't know. So apparently that urgent care runs a different test than Quest Diagnostic does. And for whatever reason, there's some antigen in my blood that will always test positive on that specific test. Now let's fast forward to March 3rd of 2025. Now I'm going to the primary care physician. When I get a physical, I also tell her about my hip on the right side. Anybody that knows me knows I've been having hip pain for the past 2 years and I cannot figure out why. She's like, okay, we're going to get you some x-rays done. We're going to run labs to make sure it's not cancer. We're going to check for inflammation. We're going to check your blood count. They want to make sure it's not arthritis, osteoporosis, like all kinds of stuff, right? So I'm like, okay, cool. And I'm like, well, since you run in my blood, can you check me for STDs as well? Can you make sure that you include HSV1, HSV2, and HIV? She was like, well, I don't know. They usually don't run HIV. Like, I have to. I'm like, no, I want it all. Why would you not do it? I want it all.
And see, that's the thing. Sometimes they look at you crazy if you want to get tested for HIV and herpes. That's why people don't get tested either. They look at you like, why are you getting this? Like it's a crime to get tested for it. Like, no, we don't even usually do that. People don't usually come in here and ask for that. Like, are you doing high risk activities or whatever? Like, no, I just want to see. Like, I want to know. You shouldn't make people feel bad for wanting to see where they stand. That's crazy.
It's like, okay, do you have any concerns? I said, no, it's just preventative testing. Fun fact, a lot of places or a lot of like clinics, if you tell them it's preventative testing, they will test you for free. If you tell them that like, oh, I think something's wrong or I've been having this issue, then they will charge you or charge your insurance. But usually, or not usually, a lot of the times, if it's preventative, then they will cover it for free.
Okay, so that's some news you could use. If it's preventative, then a lot of the times or majority of the time, they'll cover it for free. So there you go. There's no excuses. Tell them it's preventative.
So ask them. So I'm telling her like, oh yeah, I'm not worried about that for real, girl. Like since the last test I test negative, I've only been with one person 2 times. Like I would know the 2 exact dates. I'm more so concerned about what's going on with my hip. She's like, oh, okay, cool. Turns out every fucking time I say that, I'm wrong. So I went, got my blood drawn, cool. That was on March 3rd, 2025. So on March 7th, I got an email saying that my lab results have been uploaded into the patient portal. Remind you, this is a new primary care, so I haven't registered for the patient portal yet. So I get on the phone with the doctor's office and I ask them if I can speak with her so that I can get my lab results. And they're like, well, you need an appointment. Our next appointment isn't until Monday. If it's anything critical, if anything crucial, anything that stands out, she will be checking them later today and she will call you. I said, okay. So on March 10th, I have a 9:45 appointment with a psychiatrist. They want to see if I have ADHD. Turns out they diagnosed me with anxiety and depression, right? Very important to this story because I hang up with them. 10 minutes later, I get a call, and it's the doctor calling me. And she's like, yeah, so we have some labs come back with abnormal results. And I'm thinking, oh, my God, I have bone cancer. That's my immediate thought. And then, like, as soon as the thought finishes, she said, yeah, you tested positive for HIV. Huh? You tested positive for HIV. I said, are you sure? Like, can you read me back my name, first and last name, and date of birth? Because are you checking the right chart? I have never created a patient portal login type shit so fast. Like while we're on the phone with them, I'm on my phone logging into the patient portal. It's on like page 3. I get to HIV, baby. It says repeatedly reactive.
Man, she going through it. This story is getting worse and worse by the minute. Repeatedly reactive? I never heard that one. If y'all know what that one is, let me know. Told you, I ain't out here like that. I don't know about none of that. I'm learning from these videos. Repeatedly reactive. Okay. Let's let her continue.
And for some reason, emotionally, I did not have the same reaction or as strong as a reaction as I did for the herpes. I was more so just like, what? I'm like, that's it. That was the least of my concerns, like the very fucking least of my concerns. So she's like, yeah, we got to get you to a specialist immediately. Like, we have an appointment tomorrow at 11 a.m. or 1 p.m. Which one do you want? And I'm like, I have work tomorrow. And she's like, listen, the next appointment is not for 2 months, so you need to make this appointment. I get off the phone and I'm just like, all right, well, I got HIV. Like, for some reason, the herpes scared the heck out of me, but with the HIV, I was just kind of like, all right. As long as you're taking your medicine and doing what you're supposed to do, following whatever your treatment plan is, you can have a long, healthy life with HIV. You can have children and literally have a normal life. The worst part about it to me is, one, you can't breastfeed because you can transfer the HIV to your baby. Two, I'm like, I have to tell everybody that I date now. Like, I damn near got to say, hi, my name is Kira and I have HIV. And then I went to my friend's birthday party that day because that was her literal birthday. Or I didn't go to her birthday party, but she had like a little dinner in her house. People are probably shocked to hear this video right now because I haven't really told anybody. So it's the next day. I get to the appointment again, still calm, cool, collected. I'm talking to the lady who draws blood, and I'm like, yeah, so like, you know, how long does it take? Like, what are we checking for exactly? And she was like, I'm gonna partner you with a nurse to answer all those questions. So the nurse called me in the back and she was like, okay, so the test you took the first time was detecting whether or not you have HIV. It comes back positive. They tested more than one time. That's why it says repeatedly reactive. So there's HIV 1 and HIV 2. HIV 1 is contracted here in the US. HIV 2 is contracted overseas. It looks like you have HIV 1, so now we're going to check your blood to see how much of the HIV is in your system. So they're checking for the viral load. A viral load less than 30 is negative. A viral load more than 30 is positive. That'll determine what your treatment is, and you'll go forward with the doctor from there. Usually 5 days to a week and a half to get the results back. We'll give you a follow-up appointment in 2 weeks, but your results will be back way before then.
And she was the least worried about HIV, and she caught HIV. That's messed up. HIV and herpes. And I did not know that there were two types of HIV, the one that you catch in the country and one that you catch out the country. See, I'm learning a lot from these videos. Let me know if y'all knew that. But family, let me know what y'all think about this video as well. Drop a comment below. This one was interesting for all of those that's going through it. Just keep fighting. And like I said, I'm always lost for words with these videos, man. But I hate that people going through this. Hey, family, if you made it to the end, comment, I made it. Peace. And to my Hebrew fam, shalom. I will catch y'all on the next one.